Hey guys, you're going to be doing a cell cycle project, and it's going to be a foldable, and I've done a lot of the work for you. I've been doing this for quite a long time. I find it to be very successful, and if you use it the way it was intended, it's really going to help you. And for those of you who will go on to a technical college or a 2 or 4 year university, keep it because it will come in handy. First things first, you'll get a piece of paper. It looks just like this and just like this. First thing you need to do, fold it hot dog style. So then it looks like this. When you unfold it, there is a crease. You will cut along the crease. I have both of my pages and they are both cut in half. Notice that one page says flip over and glue, and then your other page, a little blurry, there we are. And then the other page says put glue here. So I'm going to take this, flip it over, and I'm going to glue those two pages together so that it looks just like that. So when all is said and done, it should look like this. So as you can see, I have it glued together. And then on the opposite side, I have the complete cell cycle. Stage 1. Stage 2, first part of mitosis. Stage 2, second part of mitosis. We're still in stage 2, mitosis, but it's going to be the third part. Then we are in the final part of mitosis with the last stage of the cell cycle. I've also drawn the circles, as you can see. Okay, so let's talk about what it entails. So first things first, most people want to know, okay, how much is this going to cost? Well, I'm going to show you. It's going to cost around a test grade, 95 points. How do you earn those 95 points? Well, first of all, you need to make sure you have your name and what hour you have me. So on the back of your cell cycle, you need to put your name, your hour, and then you need to cross this out and put 95. So each of these 8 things, you get 5 points. So the first one is the cell cycle in its entirety. That means you have the title, and you need to add the illustration. It must be colored and labeled properly, and a description. If you do all of those things, it's 5 points. Let me give you an example. Before, students would have to do this from a blank piece of paper and do everything from scratch. I haven't done that the last couple of years. So I've already titled it for you. I have already put all of the circles and the arrows, and I've even numbered them. It cut it off, so you might need to fix that on yours. Number 1, interphase. Then we go to prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and lastly, cytokinesis. That's the cell cycle. So what do you need to do? According to the directions, it's already has its title, so we're good. So now I need to illustrate it. I need to illustrate, what does interphase look like? What does anaphase look like? What does telophase look like? Then I need to color them. I need to label any certain things. I've already labeled for you. You can't really label the organelles. This is too small. Okay, and the description, all that's already been done. So as long as these are all colored and done properly, you will be fine. So stage 1 is interphase. Notice I did help you out. I put stage 1, but you have to write interphase. Okay, and same as before, illustration, color, label it, describe it. Now, hopefully you've learned from the past and you're not going to pause this video and copy, because I usually try to pick something that the person didn't get 100% correct, and then you'll just copy their mistakes and miss the same points they did. First of all, I want to point out it is nice, it is neat, it is straight, and it is legible. They have also taken, just to give you an idea, they have taken interphase, and then boom, they've blown it up. So just like you do on your phone and you blow it up, that's what they've done. They've shown me what these are, the centrioles, the spindle fibers, etc. Again, this is not a perfect example by any means. They have their title and they're saying what's going on inside of this stage of the cell cycle. Now when it comes to the last panel, You don't need to write for the title, process of cytokinesis. Cytokinesis on its own is fine, but during the description, you need to make sure that you explain the difference between plant and animal cells when they go through cytokinesis. You got 5 points for following all of the directions, for coloring neatly and correctly throughout. This is 35 points or it's no points. You either did it or you didn't. Lines drawn or you've written neat and straight. Writing is legible and you have folded it neatly. So you're going to use this sheet as a checklist to make sure you have included all of the required information on your foldable. Each rectangle will illustrate and describe a stage of the cell cycle. Use your notes on Chapter 9 and pages 248 to 252 of your textbook as a reference to completely complete this project. Illustrations must be colored neatly and labeled with straight lines. Use a ruler. Folds must be neat and writing legible. So we've already gone over how to do that. You don't need to worry about it. So when I get done with the cell cycle, I would mark that off. When I get done with stage 1, I would mark that off. And that's how you should handle it. I'm on page 249 of the textbook. This is where most people want to go, and this is where they get stuck. And here's the problem. They go from interphase down here to prophase, down here, and what do they see? Metaphase. Kids, that's not metaphase. Do yourselves a favor, read your book, okay? Over here, it tells you all about metaphase. It tells you it's the second stage of mitosis. It tells you what's happening. This is a perfect descriptor. So you're going to chunk what it says about metaphase, and you're going to take those chunked pieces, and you're going to add them here to your diagram. This is what metaphase looks like, and you'll know that if you read it and what it tells you what's happening. In fact, this picture is also metaphase. Notice that they look differently. So that's what I want to caution you on. Do not just look at the diagrams. You must actually read the sections about each of the stages and phases of the cell cycle, because if you don't, you are likely to build the wrong diagram or discuss the wrong diagram. Just to give you some student examples, you can see how it progresses as they go down. And I know it's blurry, but I'm going to do that because of, people copying. So here's another one. And something that I neglected to say. So when it comes to your foldable, notice how mine's folded. This is the end product, okay? This is what it's going to look like. If I lift it up, it accordions out like this. This is how you do it. So from a flat sheet, you're going to take this cell cycle part. See that? I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it on the line away from me. Do that again. Fold it on the line away from me. And then all you're going to do is, if you went back, you're going to go forward. Then you're going to go back. Then you're going to go forward. Then you're going to go back. Then you're going to go forward. So it's a back and forth motion, and it should look like this, so that when it's folded, it looks like that. And in class, I'm going to show you some more examples in detail.